Greetings and salutations. This is the Adjutant, and today I want to talk to you about a military pay mistake that quietly cost some service members thousands and thousands of dollars over the course of their career. Not because they're unintelligent, not because they are irresponsible, because nobody ever truly explained how money behavior actually works. See, most military members spend years believing that the answer to financial peace is simply making more money. If I can just make sergeant, if I can finally make captain, if I can finally get that BAH increase, if I can deploy, if I can finally hit retirement, then everything will finally feel stable. But what many people eventually discover is that the more income does not automatically create peace. Structure creates peace. Intentionality creates peace. And if your financial habits never change, then the more money often just becomes more expensive pressure. Now listen carefully, folks. I have seen military members making excellent money while still living paycheck to paycheck emotionally, and I have seen service members with modest income quietly build extraordinary financial stability over time. That difference usually came down to behavior, not income, not rank, not your MOS, not branch, behavior. And today, I want to walk you through one of the biggest military pay mistakes I have seen throughout my years in uniform, federal service, and simply just observing people over time. Now, let's talk about the promotion trap. One of the most financially dangerous moments in the military career is immediately after a promotion. Now, hear me carefully. There is absolutely nothing wrong with enjoying your success. After all, you can't take it with you. That's something that I've often said, you can't take it with you when you leave. You earned it. Military life is hard. The sacrifices are real. Deployments are real. Field exercises are real. Family strain is real. Exhaustion, oh my gosh, exhaustion is real. So when people finally start making more money, they often feel emotionally justified in rewarding themselves. And honestly, I actually understand that. But this is where the trap quietly begins, because many people immediately increase lifestyle the moment income increases. Get a new car, luxury apartment, more subscriptions, more spending, more dining out, more I deserve this. And again, humanly speaking, I understand that. But temporary emotional rewards can create long-term financial pressure. And that pressure compounds quietly over time. You see, many people never realize they are financially trapped until life punches them in the mouth. And unexpectedly, car repairs, medical issues, relationship changes, PCS stresses, unexpected bills, family emergencies, and then suddenly all those monthly obligations begin feeling heavy, very heavy. And when I say very heavy, they comes down automatically. And then the car payment problem. Let's talk about honestly something for a moment, and that is one of the fastest ways military members lose financial flexibility is oversized vehicle payments. Now, hear me out, folks. Before anybody gets upset, I am not saying people cannot enjoy nice things. My goodness, I love nice things. I like to look good, I like to smell good, but the point is understanding the difference between ownership and financial imprisonment. Because I have seen young people, military members driving vehicles that consumed enormous portions of their paycheck, sometimes hundreds and hundreds of dollars every month. And then life happens. Insurance increases, gas increases, maintenance appears, tires wear out, unexpected repairs happen, and then suddenly that exciting vehicle becomes emotional stress sitting in the driveway. Okay? Now, one thing I wish more people understood is this. High monthly obligations reduce freedom. Freedom matters, especially in military life, because military life already comes with enough stress. You don't want your financial decisions becoming additional emotional weight, okay? Now remember that. And then there's deployment money. Another major mistake is deployment money being treated like celebration money instead of strategic money. Now, listen carefully. I absolutely believe people should enjoy portions of deployment earnings. You sacrifice for that money, you earn that money. But I have seen people return from deployments with almost nothing to show for it financially. No investments, no emergency savings, no debt reductions, no long-term improvement, just spending. And often, folks, when I say spending, that spending was emotional because deployment environments are mentally exhausting. People come home wanting comfort. They want relief, wanting to feel alive again, want reward. And again, that is human. But long-term question becomes, did the deployment create temporary consumption or permanent improvement? That question changes everything. Because imagine deploying for months, sacrificing mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and then years later having nothing substantial to show for it financially. That hurts. Then there's the silent enemy, which is called lifestyle inflation. This may be one of the most dangerous financial behaviors nobody discusses clearly enough. Lifestyle inflation. And all that really means is this. Every time your income increases, expenses rise with it. Promotion? Upgrade lifestyle. Special pay? Upgrade lifestyle. Tax-free deployment money? Upgrade lifestyle. Bonus, upgrade lifestyle. And over time, the person never actually becomes financially stronger. They simply become financially larger. Bigger obligations, bigger bills, bigger dependence on income, continuation uninterrupted, and that becomes dangerous because one of the greatest forms of wealth is low mandatory expenses. That creates breathing room. That creates optionality. That creates peace. And then there's the emotional side of money. Okay? Now, this part is important. Money behavior is often emotional behavior. Some people spend because they are stressed. Some people spend because they feel deprived. Some spend because they want validation. Some spend because they are lonely. Some spend because they are exhausted. And military culture can intensify all of that because military life often places people into prolonged survival mode. Constant movement, constant stress, constant pressure, constant uncertainty. And sometimes spending becomes emotional relief. But relief and healing are not always the same thing. Now, one of the most powerful things you can financially do is become aware of why you spend. That level of awareness changes everything. So, what actually builds wealth? We talked about all this other stuff. Let's talk about what actually, kind of builds wealth. Now, here is the part that many people overlook. Wealth is often built quietly, not dramatically, not emotionally, quietly. Consistent investment, controlled expenses, patience, discipline, intentionality. That is not flashy, but it works. And one thing I noticed over time is that disciplined people often appear boring financially in the short term, while becoming incredibly severe and secure in life later. Meanwhile, people chasing appearance sometimes create hidden financial stress nobody sees publicly. And one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself is reducing pressure, especially as you get older, especially after military service, especially once your body starts slowing down. Then there's the mindset shift. Eventually, many financially stable people experience a mindset shift. They stop asking, what can I afford monthly? And they start asking, what creates freedom later? That changes everything. Freedom might mean no debt, paid off property, investments growing quietly, emergency reserves, reduced stress. retirement flexibility, the ability to walk away from toxic situations. Options. Options, folks, are powerful, especially after military life. Now, what I wish more people understood, I truly wish more people, most military service members understood this. You do not have to look wealthy to become wealthy. You do not need to financially compete with everybody around you. You do not need to emotionally purchase status. Real financial strength, folks, is often very quiet. It's very disciplined, very intentional. And honestly, some of the wealthiest people psychologically are simply people with peace, people with breathing room, people without constant financial anxiety. That matters more than many people realize. So if you take nothing else from this conversation, remember this, folks. Military pay mistake that quietly costs people thousands is not always low pay. Often, it is increasing lifestyle every single time income rises. That cycle quietly traps people for years. But structure, discipline, intentionality, and long-term thinking can completely change your future. And so there you have it. I hope this has been helpful. This is the Adjutant. And I'll see you in the next one. I wish you all blessings and blessings. Shalom.